Thanks for tuning in to today's reflection. You may or you may not recognize I'm in one of the classrooms in our Faith Formation Center. It's pretty empty right now. It's been empty for the last few months. And I really miss all the kids, running around or just wanting to learn about Jesus Christ, the excitement, the zeal that they have for them, parents dropping them off. But right now the classroom is pretty empty. But this is one of the many places that we try to teach people about who Jesus is, what it means to be his disciple, this classroom. And I can't wait for the day when this classroom is filled with children and adults who hunger for and want to have a knowledge and understanding of God. I'd like to reflect on today's gospel passage. It's very interesting. John, who wrote the gospel, tells us at the very beginning, the first sentence, he said, Jesus cried out. Now stop and think for a minute. He didn't say Jesus said. What he said was, Jesus cried out. Now, why do people cry out? Why do we cry out? Sometimes we cry out because we want to drive a point home. Maybe parents with children, or maybe friends trying to help another friend understand something. We get excited, we get sometimes exasperated because they don't understand what we're trying to say. And what we're trying to say is something that we want them to share, to understand, and they just don't seem to get it. So very often we, like Jesus, cry out. Now, why was Jesus crying out? What was it? Well, I think Jesus himself was getting a little exasperated because he had told them that he and the Father are one. He had told them, they said, when are you going to have yesterday's gospel and yesterday's reflection? Tell us who you are. And so he point blank tells them, but they still don't believe. So I think it's out of frustration that our Lord cries out. Well, what is it? What did he cry out? What did he actually say? And I'll quote from the reflection which you just saw briefed on the screen before I came on. He said, Jesus cried out saying, whoever believes in me believes not only in me, but also the one who sent me, God the Father. And whoever sees me sees the one, God the Father, who sent me. And I came into the world to be a light shine in the darkness. Again, I'm saying this, but he would be crying out like, don't you get it? What is it that's keeping you from believing this? And he's on to say, I didn't come to condemn the world. And even if you don't believe me, I'm not going to hold that against you. I love you. I want everyone, as he said in Monday's gospel and reflection, all one flock. So I think to say that Jesus cried out, he was reflecting how much he wanted people to believe in him and to understand his love. Well, I was thinking, that took place, the Gospel of John, in the first century of the church. He's telling what our Lord said. If Jesus were going to cry out today, if Jesus from heaven could cry out, what would you imagine? Let your imagination kind of go wild. What would Jesus cry out? And I was thinking of that. I said, and I'd love to have this classroom filled with kids, probably second or third graders, because they'll tell you exactly what they think, probably more than some of the other older kids. And I'd ask them, what do you think Jesus would cry out if he could cry out today? And I think it would go something which say, I love you. You just don't get, I love you. You don't have to figure me out. Just understand my love for you. Know that the Father sent me. That Jesus is in the Father. He and the Father are one. He would cry that out. That don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, I think he would cry out. There's no sin that cannot be forgiven. I love you more than you love the person you love the most. I love you more than that. That I died for you. Every classroom in this building has a cross. And on that cross is hanging Jesus. It's a sign to all the students, adult or younger children, is a sign, I love you. I gave my life up for you. What more do I have to do? I think the Lord would cry out. And yet, still today, either, and I think he is, in many ways, he is crying out to us, especially during this time of the pandemic. Trust me. I know what you're going through. I'm with you. Don't fear. Have hope. We're going to get through this. My grace is enough for you. I could go on and on to think of what our Lord would cry out. And I don't think he would just say it. I think he would cry out from every ounce of his being. And I think he does cry out through the scriptures, through the church, that I love you and I'm with you. But still, there's people whose ears are closed, maybe whose eyes are closed, whose minds and hearts are closed. But our Lord is never going to stop crying out, I love you. I love you more than you can imagine. And I'm with you till the end of the world. And no pandemic, no social distancing is going to keep me from loving you and being with you. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I want to make a recommendation. And I'm going to ask you, if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, on our website and on Facebook, there's a link. And the link is to a very brief video. It's only about 25 minutes long. And it's put out by the United States Catholic Conference of Bishops. And it's a video on outreaching, how to outreach to the, they call the unaffiliated. Let me explain. In today's world, a lot of people affiliate with a different religion. Many Catholic, Jewish, Muslim, Protestant, whatever. But there's a whole group of people, and often they tend to be the younger generation, who don't affiliate with any religion at all, or don't affiliate with God at all. And that's a growing percentage of people. And again, many of those may be in your very own family, as there are in mine, that just have a hard time believing they don't affiliate with the Catholic Church. And so there's a video that's come out, and it addresses those who are unaffiliated. Again, it's primarily those in their 20s, 30s, maybe early 40s. And they're called the nuns. Now, I don't mean the nun like a religious nun. The nuns meaning they have none affiliation. None. And what the video does, and it's interviews these people, these young men and women, who are good young men and women, just like, again, members in our own family, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. They're great young men and women. But when they interviewed them, what do you believe? Nothing. Well, why don't you believe that? And then they'll go on to explain. What this video does, first it identifies who the unaffiliated are, and I think most of us know. Then the second thing is why they don't believe. What is it that keeps you from believing, like many of us older generation would believe, but what keeps you from believing? And the best part of the video is that the last maybe 5-8 minutes is what we can do to help them to believe. Isn't that exciting? What we can do to help this whole younger generation, and again, it's not limited to the younger generation, what we can do to help them to believe as you and I believe. In a way, I think Jesus is crying out, using this YouTube or Facebook video, he's crying out to all those who are unaffiliated. He's crying out to them, I love you. And I understand and I accept where you're coming from. The questions you've asked, the challenges of why you don't believe anymore. I think our Lord would say, I get it. I understand that. But now listen, as I reach out and cry out to you of why I want you to understand my love for you, just as you are. So I'm going to really encourage that. I don't put too many ads or advertisements on my reflections. I think this is the first one. But check out the video, Outreach to the Unaffiliated, and see if that describes many of the people who are your own friends, college classmates, young professionals, college students, grandchildren, neighbors, I think you're going to find when you watch the video that many of the things they say you've heard before. But we have to go beyond just hearing why they don't believe or why they don't affiliate with the Catholic Church, and what can we do to help them. Thank you again for watching this video.